suspending Ricky White. What stood out to you as his coach there?
He battled, he fought. Ricky White's a tremendous receiver. Lose a lot of sleep watching him. They're going into that week, last season and this season. And so he just focused in on the game plan, understood what we were trying to get done. When you're playing a triple option, you're kind of out there on the island. And so he had to do a great job of understanding where he aligns. He followed him around to his side all game, and he did a good job with that. That's something we don't do a lot. And so for him to pick that up in a week, find him, and then go execute, it was good by him, and I was really proud of him the way he performed on Saturday or Friday.
How much of what you guys do changes from week to week depending on who you're playing, and how much of the rules of what you want to do are pretty consistent throughout the year?
I think the base rules are the base rules, but each week there's going to be little tweaks here and there, and that's the challenge. You got to make sure with the time that you get with them that they understand why we're changing things, what we're changing to, and how we're adjusting to what they do. And so I think our guys do a great job. Coach Stockton does a great job. The safeties do a lot of the communication, and it helps us kind of put our best foot forward each and every week.
What kind of compliment is it to ask your cornerback to follow around that elite receiver? Like, remember when I was a little younger, the debate was always like, is Sherman better or is Revis better? Because Revis would travel and Sherman wouldn't. So, but like, what is it? What kind of compliment is it to say, like, we want you to go follow this guy all game?
In our defense, it's a real compliment because of how we're structured. We don't move around a lot as far as sides of the field and things like that. So it is a compliment to be able to do that, because you don't do it all year and all of a sudden, hey, I need you to start following somebody in a week where you only got 6 days to really practice it and know you're going to do it. And so especially it's a compliment because of that more than anything. And he doesn't always line up at one. So trying to teach him to communicate what he's going to do from the slot and helping everybody else out on the field, because he might not be covering him on that play, but he's the one that's watched him all week and knows kind of what's coming from what formation.
I mean, as much as you can say, like, why did you guys feel like that was the best plan of attack and let Demario try to track this guy all game?
He did a good job last year. I think White had 40, 50 yards on the first drive. We started traveling him last year, and I think he ended up with like 80 or something on the whole game. And so we didn't want to make that mistake twice, and we wanted to put him on him. He thought he did a good job. He matches up well with his type of receiver, and so we started him off in the game like that.
What's the give and take with getting so many sacks and having so much pressure, but occasionally giving up a big passing play? And how do you kind of, as a defense, kind of weigh that?
Negative plays stop drives, and so as long as we can do that and try to limit those explosives, and at the end of the day, points are the biggest thing, and so trying to keep those numbers down as much as we can. And we feel like we got some great pass rushers, and Chins does a great job of disguising where we're coming from, who we're coming from, and I think Stock and Frazier's got a battle right now who's going to get the most sacks this year, because the safeties are flying in there all the time. So it's good. Again, we have to do a job of understanding what's the weakness to it, how we're going to cover this down, and do our best job of doing that.
I mean, not to say you're okay with giving up, explosives or big passing plays, but when you're getting 35 sacks, whatever you guys have, is there a little give and take there where occasionally, if it means getting an extra sack or two, that if that's the risk you take it sometimes? Or?
Yeah, you don't want to give up any explosives. I mean, that's, as a defensive coach, that's what your goal is to do. But for example, like Utah State, like we gave up 4 in the first 2 plays of the drive. Like, you just can't have those big ones that kill you for points, and they all turned into points. It turned into, I think it was 24 of the 30 points they got was explosive right out the gates. And so you got to do a good job of a secondary guy, making sure that you're in and out of pressures. When are we playing with tight feet? When are we understanding we got to protect the defense? Got to tackle better when there's that much space out there. And so those are the things that we just continue to practice on every single week, because we know what situations we're going to get in more and more, and we're trying to get those practice. All right, here's the tackle you're going to have to make, because this is what the space is going to be. He's going to see it coming. This is where he's going to go to. This is how you got to make that tackle. And so those are the things that we're learning as we go and trying to just make it better. I mean, no matter if we're shutting people out or giving up big points, like, we have to get better each and every week, and that's what Coach Daniels has preached every week. That's what this Boise State's all about, is improving each and every week.
Between Ricky White, Jalen Royals, Oregon, you guys have played some top receivers already. Just how does that help you guys kind of improve and learn from those experiences and those players?
It's fun. It's awesome. I get a lot of sleep every week. I don't know. Those guys are good. But we want to. People come here because they want to play man-to-man versus very good receivers. And so you don't come here because you want to play cover 2. You come here because you want to guard the best receivers, and we got to do a better job on those best receivers. And that's point blank, period. We have to do a good job of covering those guys each and every week. And that's what you come here for. Between Avery Williams and go look at the DB room, there's like 19 DBs in the NFL, and it's because a lot of guys come here to play man-to-man, and they do a great job of it.
This year, it seems like you guys have, turned up the pressure. Is that something that you guys think you've done because you have the people that do it, or is it something in the offseason you said we needed to do more of?
I don't know. I mean, you meet Coach D, you meet Chins. I mean, it's their personality. Chins is he's on it. I mean, he's awesome. He's aggressive. He wants to get after it. Coach D is dialed in and wants to make sure everything's covered up. And so I think there's just a little change of personality. They both believe in the same structures of defense, but one guy likes to bring it, and the other guy didn't like to bring it as much. And so I think you see a little bit of personality in whoever's calling the plays, but a lot of the same calls.
Well, Marion obviously had a good game, but it seemed like Irby and Banks were more active than usual. Is it fair to say that collectively this was the cornerback's best game of the year? And if so, what was it that made it work?
I think Hawaii I thought they played really well against Hawaii. That they passed the ball every single play, and we got, can't remember how many sacks, a lot of sacks, a couple scrambles. So I thought they started to really turn on there, carried over in UNLV. We missed 2 tackles on the same drive early. It didn't cost us as much as it could have, and so we got to get better at those situations. And then we gave up a touchdown late that can't happen. But they're improving. Each and every week, that's the goal, making sure that we can continue to improve, continue to challenge them, and that's what we do in the corner room every day. Challenge them to make sure that they're great, because it's going to be one chance. Like, nobody's going to notice you until that ball's in the air, and now you got to go make your money on those couple plays a game. And so they're understanding that, and you got to be on all the time. It's not just, the ball wasn't coming. No, the ball's always coming, and understanding that, because when it does come, if you're not ready, that split second of hesitation, that split second of not getting your hand in there, it's a touchdown or a catch or whatever it is. So they have to have that urgency every single play, every single day, if it's in the meeting room, if it's in wherever they do, because the ball's always coming, and they got to get that understanding.
I was giving the kid ask one more. On the 3rd drive of the game, you guys are down 10-3, and UNLV breaks off a big run, and Devon makes a tackle in space and saves a 76-yard touchdown. And 17-3 just seems a lot different than the situation you created.
Yeah.
How big was that play? And then how much has Devon grown since game 1 to now?
Huge. It's one of the biggest turnarounds I've seen. Just again, he came here late, so didn't practice with Washington late, so tried to get in shape, had to learn the defense, had to do all these things. And the way he's come on strong has been awesome. Like, he's running down on kickoff, making plays. He's making plays on defense. Irby's turned it around. Like, those new guys that have come in the program, man, Banks know those expectations from Washington. Irby was at Cal, wasn't used to, like, hey, we win every game. Like, it's hard. Like, it's different. And so that expectation is something that they both got to learn here at Boise. Like, it's you got to be on all the time. And I think they're starting to get comfortable in those, and then now they're starting to make big plays. Like, Banks had that play. He had a couple big tackles in the Hawaii game. And so he's really coming on. I'm really proud of him, really proud of Irby, Marion. Those guys have continued to just grow and do the best of their job that they can. That's all I can ask of them.
Harder play than it
Thanks.
looks.